Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is at your house. You YouTuber, YouTubian, YouTubist, people that watch YouTube, you guys, how's it going? If you've watched any of my other videos, and thanks by the way if you have, I appreciate that. You've noticed that I really like this stuff from L3I, and I've been kind of running it the past couple of months here. He's got a lot of neat stuff. I like the mag blocks and the little holster and the plate for your tripod, and probably my most favoritist, the thing I like the most is magazine extensions. And I can't recall, but I think this is kind of the thing that kicked him off, getting his business up and running. And this is the extension for the Bergara B14R mags, and they're pretty darn neat. I've had videos on this stuff before, so go watch that if you can. I like that. So, full disclosure here, I really like this stuff. I shoot with the guy that made it, and about a month or two ago, I asked him if he would be willing to be included as one of my sponsors for this next season, and he graciously said yes. So, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. That said, all my other videos, posts, or whatever on this stuff was done well before that relationship. So, you can trust that that was pretty unbiased opinion. I really like this stuff. It's good. That said, now you guys understand the relationship. There's nothing screwy going on. But I did want to touch base and kind of update some folks on these magazine extensions. They're starting to get pretty darn popular. At the NRL 22X national match a week or so ago, I saw a lot of them out there, and there's a couple of vendors that are carrying them now, so you can get them through a couple of places. I'll toss a link down here if you guys want to check it out. And they're out there, so there are pardon me, must be allergic to this stuff. There's a couple of tricks that I wanted to share with you all that will kind of make your life a little easier. Let me just start out. Man, I might have to take a sick day and come back to y'all later. Anyway, let me start off by saying this is a pretty darn complicated piece, and Mr. L that made these, he's a engineer and can figure this kind of stuff out, and he did a pretty darn good job. It's not a simple piece, and so there's just a couple of tricks to get you up and running here. When you order it, it'll come in a fancy little box like this, and there's a couple of pieces. You've got the actual plate itself. There's kind of this little spacer guy that goes in the bottom. It also holds a nut. Should be a square nut in the bottom there. Don't lose that, that's important. Bolt and a little spring follower piece that fits in the plate. You'll want an Allen wrench of some sort. This is I think a 5/32 and a little flat screwdriver. And putting it together is pretty simple. You can't really mess that up. But the first thing you're going to want to do, factory Bergara mag here. Let me pull that apart. Stuff out of here. Factory spring. You're going to want to take this guy and give her a little bit of a pull and stretch her out. I'd say probably half again as long as the original length. It'll compress back down in there a little bit, but give yourself some length. It'll help with the tension on there. So stretch that factory spring out a little bit. The other thing you may run into is that in the spacer in the bottom, sometimes there's a little bit of a bridge across to here, and that's part of the printing process to hold this together. Go ahead and snip that off and clean up that edge. You don't need that little piece across there. You can use whatever. I just use a little file, then give that a little bit of a zip on there. Smooth that out. That'll keep things from getting hung up on there. If you want to go ahead and make sure you're going to get 12 rounds in here, there's one other thing you can do. I've tossed it all together just as it comes, and most of the time I'm only able to get 11 rounds in there. So this magazine here I've modified, and made one modification to, and I can get 12 in there, no problem. Last one's a little stiff, but it gets in there. What you're going to want to do is pull out your follower, and there's a couple of tabs. I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I don't know what they're called. I'll call them tabs. There's actually 3 of them along here. One's just to kind of, the middle one's to hold the spring from walking around, and these 2 are the anti-tilt tabs, I guess. Keeps it from getting all loosey-goosey and sideways in there. Get yourself some sandpaper, or I use a file, and you're going to shorten these end 2 up a little bit. And you're going to bring them down to about the same height as this center tab. And then go ahead and put a little bit of a radius on the end there just to smooth that out. And what that does is that prevents this from catching on here as you come to the bottom of the travel. 11 rounds is no problem. 12 sometimes gets hung up just a little bit on there. And if you shorten that up just a little bit, you'll get that 12th round in there no problem. I understand you guys can't see this at all because I'm way back here in this little tiny black piece. So I took some pictures and made some notes, and I'm going to toss them in right here. So go ahead and pause it right here if you want to look and see what you're going to do. And if you can't see it, shoot me a message and I'll text you pictures or something. So once you go ahead and, file this guy, sand this guy down a little bit, use your Dremel, your favorite dog, whatever. Just shorten those up a little bit, smooth the radius on it, works fine. 12 rounds, no problem. And these are super handy now because if you shoot the NRL 22 or 22X, you'll notice now there's a lot of stages popping up that have 12 rounds. And of course, mag changes, you can do that, whatever. But it is awfully handy to have 12 on hand. So go ahead and grab some of these up. These are super handy to have around. Even if you don't want to load 12 in them, I like the extra length, the extra weight. It gives me something to grab on, yank it out of there. And while you're shopping, might as well grab some of this other stuff. These mag blocks are pretty cool. And this plate I really like. Goes on your tripod. And you'll figure it out. So anyway, I feel like I've rambled on long enough here, so I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm pretty available, and I don't know, I'll get a hold of Mr. L3I myself, and we'll get an answer out of him. So appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate everybody that's supporting the development of the sport, and go get some practice. It's good for you. Thanks again.